Some cities impress you with skyscrapers, others with speed, with noise, with neon. But Prague wins you over with silence. Not the kind you find in empty streets, but the kind that lives in centuries-old stones, in rivers that reflect revolutions, in clocks that still count the heartbeat of history. This is a city where every alley is a chapter, every rooftop a riddle, and every square has seen both coronations and uprisings, from Gothic cathedrals that scrape the clouds to underground chapels, lined with human bone from fairy tale towers to modern-day sculptures that twist the mind. Prague is not a destination. It's a layered experience, a slow unraveling of beauty, mystery, and memory. So welcome to the 20 places you absolutely must visit in Prague. Not just because they're famous, but because they feel like Prague. Because they whisper what guidebooks forget. Because once you see them, you'll carry the city inside you forever. Let's walk through wonder, step by cobbled step. Number 20. Old Town Square. Think of Old Town Square as the grand stage where Prague's thousand-year drama has unfolded. This cobbled theater has seen everything, from joyous coronations to fiery executions. Founded in the 12th century, it started as a humble marketplace, but soon became the city's political and social heart. The architecture here feels like a medieval symphony. Gaze at the Gothic spires of Teen Church, the Rococo flair of the Kinsky Palace, and the pastel elegance of ancient merchant homes. By day, it's bustling with buskers, painters, and the perfume of roasted almonds in the air. By night, it transforms, glowing under golden lanterns like something out of a dream. At the center stands the statue of Jan Hus, a bold Czech reformer who was burned at the stake in 1415. His stone figure now watches the square in silence, a quiet but powerful reminder of Prague's resistance spirit. And here's a local tip. Every year on December 24th, hundreds gather in this square for a massive Christmas fish soup giveaway, served from enormous cauldrons, just steps from where kings once rode past. That's Prague, where magic and memory mix like snow in cider. Number 19. Astronomical Clock. Next to the square is Prague's mechanical crown jewel, the Astronomical Clock, or Horloge. Installed in 1410 and still ticking, it's more than a clock. It's a medieval map of the cosmos, a calendar, and a cosmic stage. Every hour, on the hour, the clock performs. Figures of the 12 apostles parade past two tiny doors. Death, a skeleton with an hourglass, rings a bell while greed shakes his purse. But don't just stare at the show. Look closely at the craftsmanship. This clock captures a 15th century worldview. Earth at the center, stars rotating around us, human flaws carved into every gear. Inside the Old Town Hall, you can see the internal gear still turning after 600 years, like the heart of Prague itself refusing to stop. And here's something most visitors miss. Beneath the clock lies a discreet plaque commemorating 27 martyrs executed in 1621. Their heads were displayed, here for decades warning rebels. It's the dark twin to the clock's beauty, a poetic reminder that time in Prague always runs with shadow. Number 18. Teen Church. Towering behind the Old Town Square is Teen Church, a Gothic marvel so mystical it feels conjured by a dream. Its 80-meter twin spires dominate the skyline, one slightly thicker than the other, a symbolic nod to Adam and Eve, or perhaps the divine balance between strength and grace. Built over centuries, the church was once the spiritual seat of the Hussite movement, a radical pre-Protestant Christian reform group. They weren't just reformers, they were revolutionaries, challenging Rome from inside Bohemia. Inside, the church is dim and dramatic. Gold altars glimmer like treasure hoards, and statues of saints seem to whisper as you pass. The tomb of Tycho Brahe, the Danish astronomer with a brass nose and a love for supernovas, lies here. He died in Prague under mysterious circumstances, possibly poisoned, possibly just constipated. Either way, his soul remains here, gazing upward. Locals believe the church's towers protect the city from evil. Whether true or not, standing beneath them, You feel like you're in the presence of something older and wiser than time itself. Number 17. Powder Tower. Walk a little further and you'll crash into the blackened hulk of the Powder Tower, a Gothic gate that looks like it was carved from burnt obsidian. Once part of the city's defensive walls, it got its name from the gunpowder it stored in the 17th century. But its story begins earlier. It was constructed in 1475 as a ceremonial entrance for Bohemian kings. Coronation processions started here and continued all the way up to Prague Castle, passing through the heart of the city. The tower rises 65 meters, adorned with intricate stone carvings of kings, saints, and mythical beasts. Inside, you'll climb narrow spiral stairs leading to a viewpoint that offers an aerial glimpse of both the old city and the coronation path. That's not just a view, it's perspective. Beside it, the municipal house, a dazzling Art Nouveau masterpiece, shows the other side of Prague, gilded, graceful, and humming with concerts. Gothic and Nouveau, war and art, side by side, like twins with wildly different destinies. Number 16. Wenceslas Square. This isn't just a square, it's the spine of the new town. Wenceslas Square stretches nearly 700 meters long and has seen more tears, cheers, and crowds than any other street in the country. From student demonstrations to full-on revolutions, this is where Czechs reclaim their destiny. Named after Saint Wenceslas, the same one from the Christmas Carol, the square is watched over by his bronze statue atop a muscular horse, his sword, raised not in battle, but in silent defiance. In 1968, the Soviet invasion rolled tanks down this boulevard. In 1989, the Velvet Revolution brought hundreds of thousands to this same space, waving candles, jangling keys, and demanding freedom. No guns, no blood, just the sound of keys ringing like bells of liberty. Today, the square is home to shops, banks, fashion houses, and nightlife, but it never forgets. Hidden near the National Museum is a small memorial to John Palach, a student who set himself on fire in protest. People still leave flowers there every week. Number 15. National Museum. Anchoring Wenceslas Square, like a cathedral of memory, is the National Museum, a grand, domed building that looks like it could house the gods of time. Completed in 1891, its architecture blends neo-Renaissance elegance with national pride. Inside, it's a wonderland of knowledge. Dinosaur bones beside medieval manuscripts, ancient coins beside surreal Czech art. Each hall is like stepping into a different universe. There's even a special exhibition on the Velvet Revolution that brings the events of 1989 to life through video, audio, and artifacts. The museum was scarred by history, damaged during WFUs, and again by Soviet bullets in 1968. Today, those bullet holes have been preserved in glass as part of the museum's facade, a literal scar that tells the truth. Pro tip, head to the rooftop dome for one of the best panoramic views in the city. It's not just about what's inside. Sometimes Prague's wisdom is best seen from above. Feeling like you've walked the ancient streets already? Then you're just getting started. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Which of these places speaks to your soul the most? Number 14. Vltava River. The Vltava River is more than just Prague's liquid spine. It's the storyteller of the city. Flowing over 270 miles across the Czech Republic, it slices right through the capital like a ribbon of silver poetry. And along its banks, Prague reveals its soul. Walk along the Smetanovo Nábřeží, the embankment that gives you postcard views of Charles Bridge, the towers of Malá Strana, and the golden glow of Prague Castle reflected in the water. This isn't just a view, it's a visual symphony. Take a slow river cruise at sunset, when the sky turns to fire and the castle glows like it's been lit from within. You'll pass under Gothic bridges, by leafy parks, and hear live accordion, music echoing from the embankments. In winter, mist hovers over the river like a ghost, and in summer, swan boats paddle lazily past floating bars. The Vltava isn't just a river, it's Prague's memory in motion. Number 13. Střelecký and Štvanici Island, just off the main current Litu Islands, less visited but deeply enchanting. Střelecký Island, once used as a shooting range in medieval times, is now a peaceful retreat lined with willow trees, picnic spots, and occasional outdoor concerts. Locals come here to breathe, but our focus today is Štvanic Island, a low-key gem in the city's center, where history hides behind modernity. It once hosted bullfights and hunting tournaments for aristocrats. Today, it's home to skate parks, tennis courts, and quiet spots perfect for escaping the crowds. Here, the city sounds soften. Grab a sandwich, sit by the riverbank, and watch Prague's electric trams glide across nearby bridges, while the breeze carries the scent of river moss and old stone. What makes it special? It's where the line blurs between urban and wild, where you can sit beneath a tree and watch centuries roll past you in silence. Number 12. Rudolfinum. A short walk from the riverbank brings you to the majestic Rudolfinum, a building so beautiful it looks like it should be wearing a crown. Built in 1885, it's one of the finest examples of Neo-Renaissance architecture in Europe, with towering Corinthian columns, golden details, and statues of classical composers lining the rooftop. But Rudolfinum isn't just eye candy. It's the home of the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra and one of the most acoustically perfect concert halls in the world. Even a whisper here lingers like a prayer. Inside, Dvořák Hall glows in amber and gold. The chandeliers seem to float. The music? Transcendent. You don't have to be a classical music buff. Just sit, breathe, and let the notes soak into your skin. Pro tip: if you can't attend a concert, still visit the Gallery Rudolfinum, which hosts cutting-edge art exhibitions. It's a space where old-world elegance meets modern imagination. Number 11. Franz Kafka's Head. Prepare for something surreal. Just behind the Quadrio shopping center, a giant 11-meter sculpture rotates in a hypnotic rhythm. This is the Franz Kafka's Head, created by Czech artist David Černý. It's Prague's most mind-bending tribute to its most enigmatic writer. Made of 42 rotating metal panels, the sculpture constantly shifts, assembling and disassembling Kafka's face every minute. It's mesmerizing, uncanny, and deeply symbolic. Like Kafka's works, the sculpture represents identity, bureaucracy, and fragmentation. He lived most of his life in Prague, haunted by duality. Stand close, and you'll see your own reflection, twisted in the mirrored panels. That's the point. Kafka's world is your world, only slightly distorted. It's a selfie spot, yes, but also a moment of introspection if you let it be. Fun fact, at night, under city lights, the head gleams like a chrome god, half oracle, half machine. Number 10, Prague National Theatre. Just a short walk from Charles Bridge, rising like a golden crown beside the Vltava, stands one of the most important symbols of Czech culture and identity, the Prague National Theatre. Opened in 1881, this neo-Renaissance masterpiece wasn't just built, it was willed into existence by the people. Funded entirely through public donations, it became a national symbol during a time when Czech lands were under Austro-Hungarian rule. To build a theater for the Czech language, for Czech stories, and by Czech hands was an act of quiet, brilliant resistance. But fate had other plans. Just 2 months after its inauguration, the theater was ravaged by fire. The ceiling collapsed, frescoes turned to ash. And how did the people respond? With twice the donations. Within 2 years, it was rebuilt, grander than ever. Walk around the exterior and admire its majestic columns, statues of winged muses, and a golden roof that gleams at sunset like the halo of a cultural saint. Inside, it's no less spectacular. The grand auditorium is a chandeliered jewel box, draped in crimson and gold, with every seat angled for perfection. You don't just attend a show here, you step into a living opera of history. From Smetana's operas to modern ballets, the National Theatre isn't just a venue. It's the heartbeat of Czech artistic spirit. Its stage has seen rebellions disguised as tragedies, resistance disguised as folklore, and national pride dressed as drama. And here's something few notice. Engraved above the stage are the words, "The nation to itself," Narod Sobia. A simple phrase, but one that carries the weight of generations. Because this place doesn't belong to royalty or rulers, it belongs to the people. Number 9. Dancing House. Just a short stroll from the riverbank, you'll stumble upon a building. That doesn't follow the rules. The Dancing House, designed by Frank Gehry and Vlado Milunic in 1996, is Prague's architectural rebel. Its nickname Fred and Ginger comes from its shape. One tower straight and solid, the other curving and dynamic, resembling a man and woman mid-waltz. In a city of Gothic spires and Baroque domes, this deconstructivist marvel sticks out like a beautifully placed scar. Step inside, and you'll find offices, a gallery, and a rooftop restaurant with panoramic views of the Vltava and beyond. Building was controversial when it opened. Some called it a monstrosity. Today, it's a symbol of Czech innovation and daring. And here's the kicker. Beneath its twisting glass curves, there's a quiet energy. It reminds you that Prague isn't just a museum. It's alive, evolving, and willing to dance into the future. Number 8. Charles Bridge. And now, we come to the pulse of Old Prague. Charles Bridge isn't just a place to cross water, it's a passage between worlds. Commissioned by Emperor Charles IV in 1357, this bridge has survived floods, wars, and empires. Built entirely of Bohemian sandstone and lined with 30 Baroque statues. Each one has a story, a legend, or a miracle attached to it. Start at the Old Town side, under the Gothic bridge tower, and let your footsteps echo along the ancient stones. Musicians serenade the sun, artists sketch hurried portraits, lovers carve initials into padlocks. At the center of the bridge, place your hand on the plaque of St. John of Nepomuk, a priest thrown into the river for refusing to betray a queen's confession. Legend says touching this spot brings good luck and guarantees your return to Prague. Sunrise here is spiritual. The fog lifts, the statues glow, and the bridge becomes silent, like the city is holding its breath. You've just wandered. From surreal sculptures to a river touched by time itself, but Prague still has secrets. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Which part of the Vltava pulled your heartstrings the most? Number 7. Prague Castle. Perched atop a hill like a crown on a monarch's head, Prague Castle is not a single building, but a fortified kingdom of courtyards, palaces, cathedrals, and secrets. Spanning over 70,000 square meters, it's the largest ancient castle complex in the world, and its origins stretch back to 870 AD. Walk through the Matthias Gate, and you step into centuries of royal drama. This was the seat of Bohemian kings, Holy Roman emperors, and later Czech presidents. It witnessed coronations, conspiracies, and sieges. At night, its silhouette is like a slumbering dragon guarding the city below. Explore the old royal palace, where the Vladislav Hall hosted banquets and jousting tournaments indoors. Don't miss the window of the defenestration of Prague, where Catholic officials were famously thrown out by angry Protestants in 1618, kickstarting the 30 Years' War. The officials survived by landing in a dung heap. Prague has a way of blending grandeur with irony. Every hour, don't miss the changing of the guard ceremony, precise, proud, and steeped in military tradition. And as you walk through the grounds, take your time. The castle isn't just history, it's a living symbol of Czech identity. Number 6. St. Vitus Cathedral. Inside the castle complex, rising like a Gothic exclamation point, stands St. Vitus Cathedral, the spiritual heart of Prague. Its construction began in 1344 and took nearly 600 years to complete. It is a timeline carved in stone. Stand beneath its stained glass windows, and you'll see more than light. You'll see a kaleidoscope of stories. Each window is a jewel, especially the Art Nouveau masterpiece by Alphonse Mucha, where religion and Czech nationalism intertwine. The cathedral houses the tombs of Bohemian kings, Holy Roman emperors, and saints, including St. Wenceslas himself, whose golden chapel glows with semi-precious stones and a crown kept behind iron bars. Climb the 287 steps of the Great South Tower, and you'll find not only the biggest bell in the country, Zikmund, but also a panoramic view of Prague that humbles the soul. Beneath you, the red rooftops stretch like scales on a sleeping dragon. And here's a secret. Some say the ghost of King Wenceslas walks these halls at night, checking the land he died for. Number 5. Lobkowicz Palace. Tucked quietly into the eastern corner of the castle complex is Lobkowicz Palace, often overlooked, but never forgotten by those who enter. This isn't just a museum. It's a family saga wrapped in art, music, and political intrigue. The Lobkowicz family were noble patrons of the arts for centuries. Inside, you'll find original scores handwritten by Beethoven, paintings by Canaletto, Bruegel and Velázquez, and porcelain collections that once dazzled emperors. But perhaps the most haunting piece? A letter from Beethoven praising the 7th Prince Lobkowicz for supporting him when others wouldn't. It's personal, emotional, the sound of loyalty echoing through time. Climb to the balcony terrace, and you'll be rewarded with one of Prague's most intimate panoramic views. No crowds, just you, the rooftops, and a city that seems to exhale history. And don't skip the audio guide. It's narrated by the current Prince William Lobkowicz himself. Imagine listening to a nobleman tell his family's 700-year story while standing in the very rooms his ancestors walked. That's time travel Prague style. Number 4. Petrín Tower, Petřínská rozhledna. From the castle, look west and you'll see a steel tower poking through the treetops. Petrín Tower, Prague's very own Eiffel sibling, built in 1891 for the Jubilee exhibition. Though only 63 meters tall, its location atop Petrín Hill gives it a commanding presence. The climb up, either via the spiraling staircase or the glass elevator, is worth every step. At the top, you get a 360-degree view of Prague. The river's lazy curve, castle turrets, and red rooftops stretching to the horizon like scattered embers. But Petřín is more than a tower. The hill itself is a wonder. Stroll through the Rose Garden, get lost in the Mirror Maze, or find serenity in the Hunger Wall, built by King Charles IV to give the poor work during famine. And if you arrive at sunset, the light turns golden, and the city glows like a candle about to tell you a story. Don't rush down. Walk slowly. This is where Prague breathes deepest. Number 3. Žižkov Television Tower. Before leaving Prague entirely, one last marvel demands attention. Rising above the city like a metallic monolith is the Žižkov Television Tower, arguably Prague's most bizarre and controversial structure. Standing at 216 meters tall, it's the tallest building in the city and can be seen from nearly anywhere in Prague. Built during the communist era in the late 1980s, many locals saw it as an eyesore, a cold, futuristic intrusion on a skyline of fairy tales. But the tower got a strange facelift in the late 1990s, thanks to Czech artist David Černý, who added, giant babies crawling up its pillars. These sculptures are intentionally unsettling, their faces replaced with barcode-like voids. Love it or hate it, the tower is unforgettable. Inside, you'll find observation pods that look like spacecraft, offering panoramic views that feel like you're floating above history. There's also a Michelin-starred restaurant, and even a luxury one-room hotel. Yes, a hotel room with the best view in Prague, perched above the clouds. And here's a twist. Beneath the tower lies an old Jewish cemetery, a reminder that, even here, modernity is layered over memory. Number 2, St. Barbara's Church, Kutná Hora. Now we venture east to the once mighty town of Kutná Hora, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that rivaled Prague in its golden days thanks to its silver mines. And at the heart of this town stands one of the most breathtaking Gothic churches in Europe, St. Barbara's Church. Dedicated to St. Barbara, the patron saint of miners, this cathedral is as dramatic as the profession it represents. Construction began in 1388, funded by silver fortunes and driven by civic pride. But like St. Vitus, it wasn't completed for centuries. The result? A patchwork of styles fused into one stunning harmony. Its vaulted ceiling ripples like waves, supported by slender columns that rise like trees in a stone forest. Outside, the flying buttresses twist in serpentine curves, almost floral in design. The interior holds 500-year-old frescoes of mine workers and royalty side by side, a visual testimony to the town's wealth and identity. But the feeling you get inside? That's something else. There's silence, yes, but a rich, thick silence, like a cathedral that still listens. Walk up to the gallery terrace, and you'll overlook vineyards, old copper roofs, and the meandering Verkles River. This isn't just a monument, it's a memory etched in stone. Number 1, Sedlec Ossuary, Kutna Hora. And now, we arrive at one of the most macabre and mesmerizing places in Europe, the Sedlec Ossuary, also known as the Bone Church. From the outside, it looks like a humble chapel. But step inside, and you enter a cathedral of bones. Literally. This small Gothic crypt is decorated with the bones of over 40,000 people. Skulls stacked in pyramids, femurs forming borders, and chandeliers made entirely of human skeletons. The story begins in the 13th century, when an abbot returned from Jerusalem with holy soil and sprinkled it on the churchyard. Word spread, and people from across Europe wanted to be buried here. By the time the Black Death and the Hussite Wars passed through, the cemetery was overwhelmed. In the 1500s, a half-blind monk began arranging the bones. And in 1870, a woodcarver named František Rint was hired to organize them into the masterpiece we see today. What's most haunting isn't just the sight, it's the serenity. The air is cool and still. The light from stained glass gently kisses the skulls. It's not a house of horror. It's a monument to mortality. And oddly enough, a symbol of peace. Here, you don't just see death. You understand it. That the magic of Prague isn't in its postcard-perfect views. It's in the way it makes you slow down, look deeper, and wonder, not just where you are, but when. So tell me, which moment stole your heart? Which place whispered to your soul? Drop it in the comments and tell me which city should be next in our journey across the world. Until then, stay curious, stay wandering. And remember, some cities change your plans. But Prague changes your pace.